Hello, in this video, we're going to look at the VLOOKUP function in Microsoft Excel. VLOOKUP is a lookup function in Microsoft Excel, and what it does is it vertically looks up a value based on the criteria you have given it. Okay, so for instance, we have this values, these IDs, and then we have the titles. What we want Excel to do for us is to look up the values here and then return whatever value we ask it to return. So we want to search for the release year of this movie title with the ID, and then we want to search for the type of this movie from this list of movies here. Irrespective of whatever you're trying to look for, VLOOKUP will take this value, look at it vertically, and then returns the value in the column that you've specified based on the index number. So let's see the VLOOKUP in action. So I'm going to say equals to VLOOKUP, and then we can read the note. It says that it looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table. Very important. It looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table. All right, this movie here is in a tabular format because it has the rows, we have the column. Whatever you're looking at, whatever value you're looking at, it has to be at the leftmost column of a table. And what that means is, for instance, we'll be using the show ID, which is a unique value, to look up the release year for this movie title and then the type of this movie. But then this show ID in the table that we are trying to look up values from, the show ID must be the number one column in the table or the leftmost from our selection. So we'll understand that it'll be very soon. So let's continue. And then it returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. We are saying that S3, so it's going to look for X3, and then it's going to search that same row for X3 and return the value in the column that we specify. So if we specify that I should return value from column D, so for instance, release year is in column E. So it looks for S3, goes through the rows, and then until it gets to the column E, which is release year, before it stops, and then picks the value in that column and returns it. That's what it's saying here. By default, the table must be sorted in an ascending order. VLOOKUP, and then we'll pick this value, which is show ID S3. It's saying that what's the lookup value? The lookup value is S3. So we are using S3 to look up whatever values we want to get, which is the release year and the type. I put in my comma, and then it's saying that what is the table array? So it's asking me to select the range of data or range of cells that I want to use as a lookup table. So I'm going to say select from A4, and then I'm going to select down to the end of the data. Or I can use a shortcut. I'm just going to use a shortcut here. I'm going to click on the first cell here, and then I'm going to click on my keyboard Shift Control. I'm going to hold down the Shift and Control at the same time, and then I'm going to click on my right arrow key. So it takes me to the extreme, the last column where there is data. While holding down the Shift and Control, I'll click on my down arrow key, and then it takes me to the end of the data. So I'll click on my comma. Now it's asking me the column index number. Excel deals with index. So every column, it sees it as an index. So column A is index 1, column B is index 2, column C is index 3. But then Excel is asking you for the column index number based on your array selection. So for instance, I've selected from this show ID down to duration. So show ID, not column A now. Show ID will be my index number 1. Type will be my index number 2. Title will be my index number 3. Director index number 4. Release year index number 5. Rating index number 6. Duration index number 7. Now for the release year, where does it fall? The release year falls in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the value we want to return here. So I'll put in my 5, and then I'll put in my comma. Here it gives you a list. So is either it is true. If it's an approximate match, you can put a true, but if it's an exact match, you can put a false. So I'll put in a 0 here, then I'll close this formula or function, and then I hit enter. So let's see what happens. I'm expecting, so if I check on the release year for S3 and then I trace it based on that row, that same row, I'm expecting 2021 to be the release year for Ganglands, which is the movie title, and the show ID is S3. So let's see what it returns. 2021, and that's correct. That drag down, it returns the values. Click into the formula, copy this formula in here. I'll just place the formula, but I need to change something. What is the column index number for type here? Because we're searching for type. Type falls in 1, 2, and that is 2. So we need to change the index value to 2 here. And if I click on enter, what do I expect? I expect it to return TV show as the value for gangland. I'll click enter and returns TV show, which is correct. If I drag down my formula, I have Kota Factory TV show. Is that correct? Let's check that. S5 with the factory is a TV show. That's correct. What of the year, release year? 2021. That's correct. S8 Sankofa. Just say S8. Yeah. Year, release year 1993. Is that correct? Yes. What of type? It is a movie. What of S19 intrusion? S19 movie. Yeah, that's correct. Intrusion. Yeah. Year of release 2021. That's correct. So this is how to use the VLOOKUP formula or VLOOKUP function in Microsoft Excel.